Okay, so look, one of the great things about reading is that you can read books from cover to cover, and I always do this. Even when they're very weird or dry or strange books, I always make an effort to read stuff. I actually bookmarked this book for use in another project. It's secret, but I think it won't be breaching if I share some of my cool discoveries here with you. So this is basically a historic book about about Istanbul's history. And it starts with a brief history of Istanbul, which we won't go too deeply into. And then it says folklore da Istanbul, which means Istanbul in folklore. And then it starts reading and listing all these strange beliefs and poems and things like songs and traditional sayings and stuff. Right off the bat, it starts with a history of the city and goes into all sorts of weird lists, magic spells. And I read this book last year and I bookmarked it all over the place. So now we're just going to follow the bookmarks and I'm going to tell you the weird stuff. At any point, please feel free to comment or ask further questions, because I want this to be like a kind of interactive lesson, you know? I teach you, you ask me, I teach you, you teach me. Something like that. Okay, so right off the bat, we have this strange creature, okay? We have the personification of the lust and personal desires of the Ottoman Sultan Bayezid II. So this guy was the son of the guy who conquered Constantinople and turned it into Istanbul. And there are many stories about these Ottoman sultans, like their virtues are always exalted, and I mean they're like stories of Roman emperors, you know? They're always portrayed as virtuous rulers or like stern but rightful managers of the city and the empire. And so, this one particular Sultan, Bayezid II, was so righteous and basically he was such a good ruler that until 7 years before his death, he never even touched meat. He didn't even eat meat. He was a vegetarian. He always struggled with his own will and his own desires, and he tried to tame them. Like when you tame your desires, you realize you can also tame an animal. So one day before his death, he ordered some sort of a delicious meat dish, and he started speaking to his own sense of desire, and he says, "Oh desire, here is the feast of meat, and come out if you can." This is the Ottoman Sultan, like he has this big meat dish brought over, and he says, "Oh my desire, you know, why did you place so much desire in me, God? Come out." And suddenly, he starts convulsing. And then something comes out. Oh my God. Out of the Sultan's mouth comes a creature that looks like a weasel and a dog with two blind eyes. And it was struggling about like a rabid dog. So imagine like an elongated carnivore with blind eyes coming out of the Sultan's mouth. And this thing ran, and like a mad dog, it drank the dripping juice from this amazing meat dish the Sultan had brought over. And then, after it was finished, like a bad sense of lust and desire, it wanted to crawl back into Bayezid's mouth. But Bayezid was like, patch! It smacks it aside, and he calls his soldiers, and smack, they like shatter it with their swords. And then it's a scene, everybody's kind of silent. What the hell just happened here, Sultan Bayezid? And then the Shaykhul Islam comes along. He's like the religious minister. And he's like Ash in the Alien movies, the android guy. He looks at it, the perfect organism. No, he doesn't say that. He says, the perfect human must always struggle with this sense of desire. The sense of desire is an extension of the human body. You need to wrap it in cloth, figuratively, and bury it. And so, as the weasel creature was considered an extension of the Sultan's body, it was given a proper burial. It was washed, as it was in the Muslim custom. It was wrapped up in funerary linens. And then there was even a prayer session, where this creature that had come out of the Sultan's mouth, this blind dog weasel creature, alien thing, was washed and buried in a grave somewhere in Istanbul. So this is why Sultan Bayezid was known as the only Ottoman Sultan who had 2 funerals. He died fucking twice. Unbelievable. And of course, we're just going to have to draw this now. I don't think we can get through the whole book in one night. But yeah, let's get to work and let's draw the weasel-like extension of Sultan Bayezid's will. Maybe something like this lives inside all of us. And one of my quests in Istanbul is actually to locate and find the grave where this creature was buried. But of course, no such luck. No such luck, I'm afraid. So we're just drawing the blind eyes, the weasel-like ears, the nose, the salivating mouth. And in Turkey, many people learn about Ottoman history, but you really need to actually go down and read books like this to really find out these delicious stories. Because not just in Turkey, but every country in the world has these incredible tales and folklore like this. And if you're subscribing, or if you're just listening from a different part of the world, and if you know similar stories, please share them with me in the YouTube comments or in the stream chat right now. So yeah, this is the Sultan's as an artist, you also see the value of research in just making you a more creative and interesting person. By the way, if you want to buy any of the drawings I make in these sessions, please let me know. Go to cmkosemen.com and go to the contact tab and just let me know what you want. I can ship this exact thing to you. So there. Let me do the big screen so I can show this to you. Imagine going around town and you discover this thing. Incredible.